The Notepad, what is it? How is it activated? How can it be used? And how are teachers notified when students are using this environment? This webinar will answer those questions for you. Let's get started. What is the Notepad? The Notepad essentially is typing agents' way of getting students to practice their newly acquired keyboarding skills without us helping. For instead of giving them the text that they just simply type, this is where we're giving them a free writing space so they can actually go ahead and use it. For students who already know how to type, this is where you can get them practicing or writing their essays, writing stories, anything that you have where instead of putting it on pen and using pen or pencil and paper, they can actually type it within Typing Agent. For your K2 kids, they can even use this area too. Once they've learned the home row, you can actually have them go in this Notepad environment and have them go in and practice writing words or just practice typing those keys that they have learned. So if you want students to have access to it, you have to activate it. So how do you activate this area? Well, Typing Agent has it so that when students have gained or have earned 1,500 experience points, the program will automatically open that environment for them. However, you need to have the curriculum available for the students. So I'm logged in right now as a district administrator, because if you're working in a district setting, or in a district environment, you actually have your district administrator who has to make this available for you. So district administrators, you click on your school management tab, you click on grade settings, and you choose the grade levels that you want to have this curriculum accessible to. Now notice, you have Notepad activated. If you do not want them to have access to it, because we automatically give it to them, because Typing Agent thinks it's a cool tool, you can actually go ahead and disactivate it and click Save. That way, no one in your district will have access to it. Notice I'm not clicking save, but I'm going to put that back there. And district administrators, another step you need to do is click permissions. The permissions area tells at which level you want your colleagues or the people within your district to be able to manage this curriculum. The Notepad is associated with curriculum, so this is the area we need to focus on. So enable, disable curriculum. And if you were to hover over the eye, it tells you add or remove apps for students. You can have it so that you only want the district and school administrator to be able to do that. Or if you want teachers to have the ability to do that, then this means any adult in your district, be they teachers, school administrator, or at the district level, they will be able to manage these curriculums for students. So I'm going to leave it at, I think I had that as teacher, school admin, and district admin. I'm going to make sure I save that, and it tells me permissions has been successfully updated. So now that's what the district administrator will do. First, if you're a school administrator within the district, notice that your district has given you permission to use that Notepad. If you're in a standalone school, you have the same thing as well. So I'm going to now log in as the school administrator or a principal of a school, because notice I'm still logged in as the district admin, but district admins can also log in as school administrators. So I'm going to do that. And I land on this page that the principals or the school administrator would see for his or her school. Notice you have all the schools that are, all the classrooms that are available within this particular school. and the school admin would see that admin button there. So just as the district persons would have done, if you're the administrator of a single standalone school that's not associated with the district, you have the same functionality in that you can click your grade settings. You can choose the grade settings that you want to have access to Notepad. You can click or take off the Notepad, but I just want you to know that these features are there. With the school administrator, if I were in a single standalone school, you would also have a permissions button here that, just like the district administrator, if you did not want your school teachers to be able to make changes, you can just limit that to only the administrators in your school can make changes at the curriculum level for your students. The same thing you do for them. So now, just like how the district administrator was able to log in as a teacher, I'm now going to do that as a school administrator. I click the school user management and I filter via teacher. I see the teachers in my school. I can log in as this particular teacher. And notice I only get the classrooms that are associated with this teacher. I also know I'm logged in as a teacher because it changes from admin to roster. So now I'm going to click on this classroom that I want to see, and I can click on settings because my administrator gave me permission to make changes in the curriculum. I then click on the curriculum and I can go for Notepad. I can make changes. Remember now, typing agent's default settings for the Notepad is at 1500 experience points. If I want my students to have access to this right away, I can change that from 1500 and put 0 and click assign all. When I click assign all, this will then be given to all of these students in this particular classroom. Another way you may want to assign your curriculum is by clicking on students. If you didn't want to assign the curriculum to all students in the classroom, you may select students within your classroom and just assign it to those particular students. So by selecting these 3 students, I can then go click on curriculum, and then I can change this from experience points from the 1500 that's there, and I can change this to 0. I click assign all. Notice the check mark appears, and I now know that these 3 students will have access to the Notepad curriculum. Now let's go and check that out, see if my hypothesis is correct. I'm now going to log in as this particular student, this trigger, right? I log in as him, and notice the Notepad is locked. It's telling me it needs 1500 experience points to access this area. So far, Trigger has 352 experience points. So he has quite a bit more work to do in order to access this curriculum. So let's go back. I'm going to now log back into my grade 4 classroom, and I'm going to log in as this Nancy Forth. And I think, yep, Nancy was one of those students that I had given my access, the ability to access it immediately. Instead of having, notice too, she has over the 1500 experience points anyway, so this would have been activated for her. So when Nancy clicks on the Notepad, she's taken immediately to this page. And so with your students who already know how to keyboard or type, this is how they can go in and use this area for word processing. So I'm going to attempt to answer the questions, how can students use this, or how can it be used? Notice it has all of those word processing features. For example, writing things in HTML, you can teach them how to format things with different types of headers, how to use bold, italics, strike through if they're working on a document, how to create lists, if you need to hyperlink something to your document, all of the rich, the text formats, be it font or text colors or sizes, these are available here. If they wanted to align their text left, center, or right, if they wanted to print their document, that is there, save it, or any work that students have actually done and saved, they can click here and it's here for them to go and work on. So let's look at this particular document that says we work from home now. If this student wanted to go and work on this particular document, it tells the student, hey, you've submitted this for review. They can go in and add to it and save it as well. If your student can actually go in, and let me do something, Nancy. Nancy clicks on her phone home button, clicks on this notepad and say, this is a test, and she clicks return and does not click, or let's go and click save. Notice as soon as she clicks save, it's saying, hey, you need to add a title here. Unless Nancy adds a title here, you will have access to it, but it will not be properly saved. So Nancy can go and click here and see nothing, all these documents with no titles on it. It means she's going to have to go through each one if she wants to find the particular one she wants to see. Now I'm going to now see how do you as an administrator or a teacher know that your students have used that notepad area. I click on my grade 4 classroom and notice right here it says notepad. I click on notepad and it then tells me all the time students have actually logged into typing agent, or sorry, logged into the notepad area and actually did some work. So at a glance, I see anyone where it says, where it shows me that there's no title, that child has logged in. And a key thing for you, whenever you see anything without titles, tell your students, hey, I'm not getting them because there are no titles associated with them. I can click on, or if, for example, I see that she has submitted this one for me to review. So I can click on this eyeball, go and click on any of the eyeballs. So I know that my kids have actually logged on or clicked on that notepad section, but have done nothing. So if I don't want that, I can actually go in and delete this. I get a warning, hey, do you want to delete that? Yep, I do. So this will help me clean up this database. So now with Blondie Brothers, I see she submitted something, but it doesn't have a title. So I need to let her know, hey, you need to give me a title. But notice there's nothing there for me to review. She submitted it for me to review, so, but nothing is there. So I have to then go and tell her, hey, I didn't receive the work to review, or I know that she did not do anything in here, but she clicked that for review. So since there's nothing, I can actually go in and click that off as well. So any of these that have nothing next to them, I can actually go in. These are just signaling to me that, hey, the kid clicked on there, but has not really worked. But whenever I see the check mark, it's telling me that, hey, this student is ready for me to review it. But again, because this does not have a title, I know I can click off this because nothing is in there for me to review. I get the warning, but now I can click on this one that's been submitted for review. I click on there and I see that Nancy has submitted for something for me. I can see that I can actually go ahead and review this. Once I have it reviewed, I've read it, notice that immediately the check mark appears now as a magnifying glass. That tells me, hey, I've reviewed this. Notice with any of these, I can print this document for my files, or I can always go in, I can leave it here, or I can delete this once I have it evaluated. So for these documents, if ever, the way to use this is, for example, as I was explaining before, if students have, say, finished the home row, you can have students write all the words that they can think of that use only the home row. And that will be after students have finished, say, Flag 5 or World 1, that is Flag 5 in the K2 curriculum, or World 1 in the 3+ curriculum. And you can build up from there. They can write words, they can write stories. And again, don't be afraid to let your little ones who are using the K2 foundations, they can use invented spelling. They can go ahead and write their stories within this area. And you can always then go and review it from within this Notepad section. So that's all for now. In this tutorial, I've walked you through, explained what the Notepad is in Typing Agent, how to activate it, how students may use it, or teachers can have students or assign work for students to do within this area, and then how teachers can actually go in and review what their students have done. Go ahead, make the Notepad a part of your curriculum today, especially as we have students working at a distance. You don't have to have them using pen and paper, but you can actually have them writing stories or writing about different experiments or different things they're doing throughout their day within their Notepad section. One thing I should show you, teachers, is should you ever want to see anything or read an article about the Notepad, you can click on the Solution Center or this Help button. We're going to take you here, and you just click, just type in Notepad, and you will fall right here where my colleague Nikki talks through or walks you through how to create this Notepad or how to set it up and how it may be used. So go, get ahead, start using the Notepad's curriculum or work area with your students today. That's all for now. Bye-bye.